Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our autumn term PE network meeting. I hope you've all had a lovely summer. I'm sure it's a distant memory as we've been chit-chatting, waiting for everybody to join us. It feels like a long time ago and definitely feels like a really busy start to term so far. So I hope you're all well. Thank you for attending tonight. We'll get done within the hour and hopefully it'll be a good use of your time. If it's not, let us know and we'll fix it for next time. If your name doesn't obviously show who you are, so I'm Kirsty, I'm not Katie. Katie's on my laptop, doing the breakout rooms, I'm on Katie's laptop. But if it's not obvious who you are, make sure you change your name or pop it in the chat so we can put you in the correct breakout room when that time comes. So we've got quite a busy day today, and I'll do a few local updates for you first. Then we've got Abby from Living Streets come to talk us about the WOW. We've got Camille from the Dance CPD from the Royal Ballet and Opera. We've got Dr. Vicky Randall with us for our guest speaker with some lots of important updates. Then we'll go into breakout rooms for however long we've got left and quickly come back together with some questions and answers and any final thoughts. So I've already said Katie, who's with me, is our project officer at Active Cumbria, and she's going to be supporting with all things children and young people, mainly with school games. She's going to start taking the lead role on school games, a bit of the police partnership work, a little bit of everything, aren't you, Katie? So she'll talk to you in a bit about school games, but just for those of you who haven't met Katie, this is Katie. Okay, right, so CPD. So we're changing the way that we organise our CPD just because we had to cancel such a lot of the courses last year. I absolutely know you're under so much pressure. It's really hard to get out of school. It's hard to get supply cover. Sometimes physical activity isn't seen as a priority as your school. Obviously it is for you because you're here, which is amazing. But we know there's lots of challenges. So it's not efficient for anybody though to be booking courses and then them being cancelled. It wastes your time, it wastes my time, it wastes the tutor's time. So what we're generally going to do is I will put a few on that are pretty much always popular, things like gymnastics and stuff. I will put a few on generally that MD can book onto. But the best thing to do if you want something is to let me know or speak to schools in your local area, in your cluster, speak to your local school games organisers. So we know that there's definitely going to be demand for it, and then we can look at getting those organised for you. Offers still the same as last year. You can find this on our website. I can email it out to you. So just let me know if there's anything, or if there's anything missing. Again, give me a shout, and we can try and get that organised for you. We do have some gymnastics on this week. So the Copeland and Allerdale School Games organisers asked for this on behalf of their schools. It is on Wednesday, so if you're not booked on it and you do want to come, you've not got a lot of time to get organised. From my perspective, you're absolutely more than welcome. If you want to come and you can sort it with school, just let me know as soon as possible. So that's this Wednesday at Nezerall from 9 o'clock till 2:30. Unfortunately, some sad news. This one's out with our control. It's not our choice to have to postpone this. Some difficulties with our tutor and some personal circumstances. So we have had to postpone these. So we did have quite a lot of bookings across the funded one for the Let's Move schools in the West and for the Carlisle, the paid course. Not so much interest in Barrow. I think there's only 3 schools interested. So we are currently liaising with Sharon, the tutor, to get a new date. We're currently thinking February, but as soon as we get it confirmed, we'll of course let you know. And emails will come out saying, do you want to transfer to that course if you've already paid, or do you want a refund? And we'll give you options. And of course, if you missed these ones that were coming up, then you've got plenty more time to get organised for the new dates. Certainly schools that think if they are interested, want to go to Barrow, please let me know, because if we don't get more than 3 schools interested, we probably won't rearrange it. Sharon comes from Wales, so it's a bit of a one to organise, to then end up cancelling. Okay, school games. Katie, are you ready?
Yeah, swap seats.
Want to swap seats and then you can see the notes. I'll not mess with the breakout rooms.
Hi everyone, yeah, so I'm Katie. If I've not already met you, I'm sure we'll be in touch at some point over the next year if we haven't already spoken. So just a few updates for school games, some dates for your diaries. We've got all of the pentathlon finals here, so the curling, the multi-skills and the boccia, they're all obviously finals which will have feeder events happening prior to these. So we're currently supporting Penathlon to arrange those, and the invites will come out to you either, well, probably from us and from the SGOs and potentially the providers. So invites for the curling, I know, went out to Eden, South Lakes and Finesse last week. And you can look out for the invites for the other events coming through, hopefully in the not too distant future. So we've got curling finals 6th of February in Penrith. All of the Penrith events here are based at Penrith Leisure Centre. The multi-skills finals 17th of April and the boccia on the 8th of May. The transition festivals, you can see the 2nd and 3rd down there. If you've not already had students attending these events, they are based around year 6 and 7 pupils, supporting the transition from primary to secondary school. And there's a real focus on these for feeder schools for secondaries, and the SGOs will help to coordinate that with you. So 4th of March for the Cumberland Transition Festival at Penrith Leisure Centre, and then we're very close to confirming the date and time and venue for the Westmoreland and Finesse Transition Festival. We're hoping that will be the 3rd of March, but we'll confirm that as soon as possible. And the final date on there for you is the County Festival in Carlisle. So that's primarily based at the Sheep Mount, like it has been in previous years, with a couple of venues close by as well. So Thursday, 25th of June. We are currently working on the primary and secondary handbooks and new school games handbooks for you. So don't worry if we've not got all these dates right now, they'll all be in the handbooks and we'll get those out to you as soon as they've been finalised, but certainly before the October half term. And you'll also be able to access that on our website. Just a little reminder about the target audience for these events. So we're looking for pupils who are less active, pupils with SEND, and those who don't generally get to represent their schools at these kind of events. So please focus on those pupils where you can as much as possible. I think that's all from me. If you have any questions, please do just get in touch. My email address will be on a slide at the end of this PowerPoint. So yeah, please just do feel free to get in touch with myself and Kirsty, of course. And all of the SGOs are all here to support you however we can. Thank you. I'll swap seats with Kirsty again.
Lovely. Thank you, Katie. Okay. Barclays Girls Football in Schools. So the name's changed slightly. I think it was previously Barclays Girls Football Partnerships. The name's changed, but nothing else has changed. If you haven't signed up, if you're a new PE lead, it's definitely worth signing up to. It's free. There's loads of resources, CPD opportunities and things on there. If you do sign up, make sure you also take the pledge. Sounds dramatic, that. Okay, have we got Abby? Abby, yes. So I'm going to pass over to Abby from Living Streets, who's just going to talk to you a little bit about how you can get your school more involved in active travel. So Abby, just shout when you want me to pass the slides on for you.
Perfect, thank you, Kirsty. Hi everyone. I recognised a few names popping up whilst we were joining then. So hello to those of you who have met me before. But for those who haven't, I'm Abby. I'm a project coordinator for WOW, the Walk to School Challenge at Living Streets. So we're the UK charity for everyday walking. And we're partnering with Active Cumbria to see how we can support primary schools across Cumbria to increase active travel to school. And Kirsty kindly invited me to share a little bit about WOW with you today. So could we jump to the next slide, please, Kirsty? And fingers crossed, we've got a little video. We're going to see if it works. Hope the I can hear that perfectly fine. I'm hoping other people can too. Thank you, Kirsty. I've paused the video there. Has that paused for everybody else, Kirsty? Perfect. Thank you very much for that. So as it showed in the video, taking part is super simple. Pupils travel actively, they record their journeys on the travel tracker, and at the end of the month, they can earn a badge if they've completed the required number of trips, and you can decide how many days a week you want the threshold to be for that. So just on the next slide, there's another little snapshot of the travel tracker again. It's super child friendly, means that pupils, even in Key Stage 1, can take full responsibility. So it shows which badge they're working towards. Every pupil has a little icon with their name on. It can be anonymous or it can have their name, and they simply click the method of travel of how they got to school that day. So before I worked at Living Streets, I was a class teacher myself for 7 years, and my school was a WOW school. So I can honestly say that it ran itself in the classroom without intervention needed from me. I wouldn't be able to promote this in good conscience, knowing how difficult your jobs are. So we can even train some pupil ambassadors to really make sure that they are taking full responsibility themselves. Next slide, please, Kirsty. Thank you. So any school can purchase WOW through our website, but what's really great is that we have a walk to school outreach project. So this project is funded by Active Travel England, and it means that through this project, which is the one I work on, we can offer fully funded places on WOW. So completely free for the school for at least the whole academic year, and depending on funding going forward, subsequent years as well. So you can see here that we're working with 45 partner areas at the moment. Cumbria was one of our new areas last academic year. So I started discussions with Jodie last year to identify some schools who might benefit from one of our funded places. And if we just take a look at the next slide again, please. Thank you. You can see that currently we've got 23 schools across Cumbria taking part in WOW. And now that we've got funding to offer more fully funded places, we of course hope to see that number continue to grow this year. What's also quite nice is that inside the travel tracker, schools can access leaderboards. So it's always quite funny to see staff's competitive sides coming out when I show them that part. We do have an eligibility checker on our website, but with me being the coordinator for Cumbria, I have already checked all of this, and I can see that most primary schools are eligible for the fully funded places. The only exception I can see currently is Warwick Bridge. I'm mentioning you because I think that you're with us today. Our records show that you've already participated in WOW in the last 3 years. So due to our grant agreement, that they are the limits. Unfortunately, you wouldn't be eligible for a funded place, but please do get in touch if that doesn't sound right to you, and we'll look into whether we can support you another way. So just as a final point, on the next slide, please, Kirsty. As part of a funded place, you receive everything you need to run WOW in your school. So that's monthly WOW badges, access to the travel tracker, which gives you all your travel data, a banner for the gates, a mini Strider toy or a mascot for the class of the month, as well as full support from me as the project coordinator to help you set everything up and deliver an assembly to launch the project in school. So that's what comes under the funded places. I've just put a few details on the last slide of how you can get involved if you would like to. So there are more information, videos, testimonials from WOW schools on the Living Streets website. If you would like to register your school's interest, you can use the eligibility checker on the website if you would like. But as I said, most schools are eligible, so you can also just do that directly through me. That's my email at the bottom of the slide. I'll also just mention whilst we're here that we also have some free online assemblies at the moment. Any school can join these. You don't have to be participating in WOW currently. It might be a nice way just for you to get more of an idea of what we're about here at Living Streets. And they're all themed around active travel with links to various other topics like celebrating diversity and different things that come up in the calendar year. So there's a link there as well for those. There's one per half term at the moment. So completely free, and you can sign up through that link. Please do just reach out to me though directly if you would like to chat about any of these things or think about joining WOW, and I will see how we can support you. Thank you.
Super, thank you, Abby. And like Abby said, if for some reason you're not eligible, or Steph, if there's a barrier at Warwick Bridge, if you get in touch with myself, Abby, and also Jodie Laird, our active travel officer, who's not with us today, then I'm sure we can sort something out. Okay, right. Next, I'm going to pass on to Camille. Camille is with the Royal Ballet and Opera, who are going to do some free CPD in schools, starting in Carlisle, but hopefully looking to spread across the county. So, Camille, if you're ready, I'll pass over to you.
Thanks so much, Kirsty. Hello, everybody. Hope you can hear me okay. So hello, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Camille Marlawi, and I'm the Interim National Schools Partnership Manager at Royal Ballet and Opera. I'm really delighted to be here today. You might think actually of the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden in London, you know, just as that building in the capital, but we are a truly national organisation working all over the country. And we're, you know, much of this is through the schools programme, where we offer free teacher CPD through the art forms of dance, singing and design for key stages 1, 2 and 3. And the schools programme is free, it's award-winning and it's national curriculum-led. It offers an inclusive approach to leading dance and storytelling that helps pupils develop creative collaboration, physical learning, spatial awareness and general health and well-being. It's designed purely for schools to embed into their existing PE curricula, or it can also be applied for high quality active learning across and integrated with other subjects as well. If I could have the second slide, please, Kirsty. So we are coming, partnering with Cumbria, Active Cumbria, and coming to Richard Rose Academy in Carlisle on the 14th of November. There's also some other dates across a little bit more in Lancashire as well, happening across the autumn and spring term. So I've put some dates in the notes. So when you get the slides at the end of the meeting, do have a little look and see if any of those venues are better for you. We'd love to do more in South Cumbria as well. I come from Barrow and Furness myself, so I'd really love to see what's happening all across Cumbria. Do go to the website, click on the rules, and then Teacher CPD to see the full list of where CPDs are taking place. Please do book on wherever is convenient for you. It's all free. You could have the next slide, please, Kirsty. Thank you. So if you have any interest in dance, this CPD is absolutely for you. No prior experience is needed. The CPD is accredited and it all adds to your own development and pedagogy. You could have the next slide, please. We introduced the building blocks of dance in order to create movement and choreography through class activities, and these are fully supported by comprehensive online resources as well. And these are in the forms of 5 lesson schemes of work, and they're based on existing repertoire on the ballets Alice in Wonderland, Romeo and Juliet, The Nutcracker and Crystal Pite's Covenant. And the lesson plans are complete with step-by-step whiteboard presentations, demonstration videos, everything hopefully that you need to help you in your lesson delivery. We also provide curriculum links and how you can incorporate the scheme into your mid and long-term planning through curriculum maps as well. So we're really trying to take away as much of the work as possible so that you can slip it in and use it in your own teaching. Thanks, Kirsty. If I could have the next slide. So, of course, the best way is to hear what other teachers say about it. So here's a very short film. Hopefully it's going to work to give you a little bit more idea about what happens.
A lot of people
Thanks, Kirsty. I think that's hopefully just gives you a little flavour. And this quote, it's pretty different because it's like changing learning into playing. I love this quote. I think it really says it all, and really what we're all striving for as teachers, to allow children to learn through play, experimentation, and to develop their skills in a supported and open way. you know, the Royal Ballet and Opera Schools programme is not about making children into ballerinas and opera singers, but allowing them to be able to access these art forms and have an opinion on what they think about it. They might not wish to take dance or opera further, but they may love the design, the costume, the music, and this might act as a way in for them. So it's just allowing access for all. We could take the next slide, please, Kirsty. Thank you. So as well as the full day CPD, we've got the online resources. We also run termly live lessons for primary schools, where you can join us for Discover Ballet, which this term is happening on the 4th of November. And then Everybody Dance, which is happening on the 10th of December, and both live lessons feature dancers from the Royal Ballet as well. So again, you can find lots more details about it all and book via the website. Again, that's all free as well. We also have Create Day each summer, which is a live online cross art form day, complete with lesson plans that can be completed beforehand. It includes a song, creating choreography based on celebrating the UN rights of the child and the theme of hope. It's happening next year on the 7th of July. So do again have a look at the website, sign up already. That's always a great day. We're now into our 4th year. Growing more and more, which the schools are growing with each year. Could have the next slide, please, Kirsty. Thank you. So yes, so we're delighted that so many teachers, schools, and of course students have worked with us already. The numbers are really growing, and we want to continue building and spreading the word about our CPD. RBO is very lucky to have received additional funding for the next 3 years from the Moan Westlight Foundation. So we hope by the end of that 3 years to have CPDs running within an hour of every school in the country, and to really increase our reach. So we could have the next slide, please, Kirsty. Thank you. So I do hope you found this very short, and I've tried to be as quick as possible, presentation useful, and just you know, hopefully it's piqued your interest a little bit. Please do go and explore the website and come along to a CPD. I've put my email address for you there at the bottom, so if you have any questions about anything, please do get in touch, and we'd love to hear from you and see you at a CPD soon. Thank you so much.
Lovely, thank you, Camille. And I'll send out the book and links and everything to all the PE subject leads in my emails to schools, and keep reminding you all about it.
Thank you.
Okey-doke. Right, so on to our keynote speaker for today. So delighted to have Vicky with us, Dr. Vicky Randall, who many of you will have met before. Vicky spoke at our conference, did some workshops. She ran some CPD last year for us for PE leads, head teachers and governors, which was really, really useful in getting that whole big picture perspective. She ran our subject leaders meeting in Kendal. And Vicky's the one I go to because Vicky knows what's going on in the world of PE and school sport. So she's got lots of slides, lots of information. I will send out the slides afterwards, as always. And I'll pass you over to Vicky. Thanks, Vicky.
Thanks, Kirsty. Oh, keynote. I wasn't quite prepared for that intro. Hello, folks. Really lovely to see so many names and schools who I've already met. And hello, and I'll do a quick intro for those who I've not met. But thank you, Kirsty. First of all, just how wonderful to hear all the stuff that's going on. I can genuinely say, if you go to that dance CPD, you will not be disappointed. And not only will it underpin your dance, it will underpin all the foundations of movement for all your teaching in primary. There are many of us in teacher education draw on dance in our fundamental building blocks of teaching primary PE. So amazing. Fantastic. And thank you for telling me about Welsh schools. I saw it on my son's school this afternoon and I'm like, oh, great. Now I know what it is. That sounds amazing. I'm going to park a little bit further away from tomorrow and hopefully try and get in some badges. Really love to see you all. We've heard a word across the kind of discussion already today, and I've thrown 2 pictures up here. So just to give you a little moment, if you fancy playing along in the chat, could you share with me what you think those 2 pictures might be related to in contemporary policy, thinking, curriculum, school areas around children and physical activity? What sort of things do you think might I be prompting here that may come up over the next few slides and discussion? Again, please don't think there's a right or wrong answer. Those pictures could inspire all sorts of thoughts, but these are pictures I've taken. Couple of little tweaky buttons I have, but also very relevant to some bigger national pictures and discussions at the moment. So if you're able to play along in the chat and have a little think what you think that might be about, I might drop in and have a little look what you're saying on that over the next few slides. But if you want to play along, I will reveal what that's all about as we go through. So Kirsty, if you could move on for me. A little bit of context and where I'm coming from with this, for those of you that I've met already. I wear a number of different hats, which I find quite stressful when I'm trying to explain who I am and what I do. So first and foremost, I'm a visiting associate professor at Gloucestershire University, working within PE teacher education, specifically primary and primary non-specialists, specialism, and a little bit of secondary as well. I was a former teacher before then. Some of you may have met me or come across me. I'm also a co-founder and ambassador for the charity Stormbreak that uses movement to support children's emotional well-being. And please reach out at all. I know Kirsty very kindly supports that, and it's in the CPD brochure. But if you want to know a little bit more, please do reach out, and I'm happy to have a chat about that. Other than that, I'm a consultant for PE Scholar, and that includes involvement with the DFE, some work with Ofsted, and that's a little bit more where I'm coming from today. If you're twiddling your thumbs of a day or weekend, you know, as all teachers do, I'm also author and co-author publications and texts in primary PE. So if you want to have a little bit more professional development that is more on the page than off the page, I'm always happy to share some go-to readings to help support you in your role. So this year I'm gonna, in my starting and planning ahead for the year, chat with you all. I'm gonna draw on all those different things just to kind of give you a sense of where the landscape is lying and what to think about over the next 12 to 18 months, well, less than 12 months really. And this is a little snapshot of what's to come. So the national curriculum, first and foremost, you may or may not be aware, we are fully in a curriculum and assessment review period. And what that means for us is we can anticipate the publication of a new national curriculum by next September. That is for all subjects or key stages from year 1 to year 11. That will impact examination, not that that affects us in primary, but it will affect every subject from every year group going forward. Where we are in that is we can expect a full report on the outcome of the review in autumn. Very, very broad publication deadline that, but by Christmas we shall know a lot more about what's happening in each subject. What I can tell you is PE was identified as needing some substantial work to it, and it had a task finish group to start working on what those areas might be. So by Christmas, we should hopefully have a little bit of an idea. The DFE have also just commissioned people to write the curriculum. So where we have an inkling where PE will be going, we won't be starting to write a new national curriculum until this autumn. And so we won't really see any sign of one probably until next summer into publication for September. So we are really looking at September 27 as a statutory implementation of a new curriculum for us in PE. But we will know what that will look like certainly by this time next year. So do keep your eyes peeled. As always, Kirsty, I will let you know, and maybe this top-up call, this catch-up call with everyone next September might look quite different in terms of knowing what our programmes of study are and what's required of us in terms of assessment. So watch this space for that. In terms of your role, if you're a subject leader for PE, what I'd say at this point is don't go changing anything drastically. If there's something that needs changing, please change it. I mean, if you think there's something not right or not working for your young people, then by all means, but don't do a massive throw everything up in the air and start rewriting any new curricula at this point, because it's only going to change in the next year. So we've got a good opportunity now to ask questions, review, audit, see how the curriculum's working, not working, and get a real deep sense of how curriculum provision is in your school over the next year. Second thing I just want to share with you is school games organiser review. So can we actually move forward on these slides now, Kirsty, because I realised I didn't have a separate slide. So I've talked about the National Curriculum Review and expect to report this autumn. There has been a review of school games organisers, and Kirsty and colleagues at Active Cumbria will have a lot more information on that, I'm sure, as it comes through. From what I understand, the outcome of that review, and I've hyperlinked it on there, so that's things like all your competitions, your school games, things that we were hearing at the start of this call, all been looked into, but schools responded positively about this. So a positive review is a good indication that these things and activities are important and therefore funding should stay. So if you're interested in that, please do have a look at that review. If not, I'm sure you'll get the headlines and changes, of which I'm about to give you a little bit of an insight into how change might be happening again over the next couple of years. There is updates on the updates or non-updates on the PE premium, which I'll get to in a minute. But there is an evaluation currently happening of the PE premium, and that again will coincide with changes to the premium as we get news of the new national curriculum for primary PE. So again, we only have one more year secured of guaranteed so far of the PE premium. We have no idea whether they're going to extend it, but there seems to be a point where the DfE are going to stop by next year to review what the national curriculum looks like, what the outcome of their evaluation is on the PE premium, and what direction they're going to take next. Because their big question is it value for money, and is it having an impact on our young people? And that's the questions they're currently asking schools nationally at the moment. So we await the decision of that. As I said, we've got one more year of premium that we know of. It is likely to change. It is likely to be redirected, refocused. I was saying this last year, and last year they then announced it that they were given another year. And when we spoke to AFP about this and the DfE, their feedback was the reason we've given PE premium another year is because the curriculum's changing and we haven't yet had the evaluation of its work back yet. So we're not going to change anything until we have new insight. So again, it is likely to change. We don't know when it will change, but do not assume you're going to get it after July. Every year now is a little bit of an extra bonus in its current guise. And can I just, I'm going to come back to the school sports partnership ones in a minute, but if you see the last point I've made there, for those of you that have an AFP level 5 qualification, this qualification has now changed as of this academic year. There is a new level 5 qualification out. You will need to contact AFP to see if that current qualification is still relevant. But the new qualification is one that's been kind of rubber stamped by the DfE as the kind of recommended qualification to have. And it's certainly going to be framed as a mandatory minimum for any coach you have working in school or anyone supporting PE in your class. So if you have any HLTAs or TAs or external people coming in to deliver your primary PE, they need to be doing that alongside the teacher, and they need to be having the level 5 qualification as a minimum mandatory advisable award. We are in the early stages of this, and they're only piloting the first round of this qualification. But I'm going to give you a bit more meat to that point as in a couple more slides, just to explain why those changes are starting to happen. So, summary of that is, if you have an existing level 5 and you are a qualified teacher, there's no panic. You have a qualified teacher status, so you don't need to do anything. You might want to update your level 5, you may not. If you are a non-qualified teacher and you use your level 5, you will be asked to update, refresh that level 5, and that is going to be the minimum level qualification advised by the Department for Education for any coaches or anyone supporting teachers in schools when it comes to PE. Forward, please, Kirsty, because I just want to give a little bit more concept. I mentioned on the previous slide, there is also going to be a new sporting partnership framework. Now, this has just gone out to tender, which will mean by next September, for those of you who've been around the block a few years like me, you might remember the term school sports partnership. I can see Kirsty smiling there. The old school sports partnerships are being reimagined. And again, you might think, oh, is this a coincidence? A new curriculum, a review of the primary PE premium, and now a school sports enrichment framework. No, it absolutely isn't a coincidence. And I think we can start to expect by next year all of this coming into line. The outcome.
It's just come up and went, oh, that's not it. I said, how am I going to get it? Knock on our window.
I just muted that person, Kirsty. I don't think they realised they hit their mute off. What we can expect then, again from next year onwards, is a much more national joined up structure around PE sport, physical activity, core curricular and extracurricular activities around inclusion. It's around elevating quality standards, and it will be around expanding access to high quality PE sport and physical activity opportunities. There is a lot of crossover here with the expectations of the PE premium. So I think these changes are all going to coincide, and it will be an opportunity for the reset button to be pressed next year to see what direction nationally is going to be taken on school sport funding and PE and school sport infrastructure. I am sure as active partners, there will be considerable interest in this tender and fund to see how the organisation of that will come out. I've just had a look down the chat, and there's a question here. Are all teachers meant to have a level 5 qualification? No, Jeanette, they're not. If you're a qualified teacher, you're a qualified teacher. If a qualified teacher has a level 5, they probably would have gone to get some subject knowledge CPD. But for those colleagues who are not qualified teachers, the level 5 will be the new minimum well, they say mandatory. I'm being very careful with my language here. New expected minimum standard for a non-qualified teacher to have if they're supporting PE in the curriculum. So you absolutely don't need that if you're a teacher, but if you're not a teacher, there's going to be some changes to who can teach PE in school and what qualifications they can have to do that. So school sports partnership, again, will be a new infrastructure. Josie, when does this come into place? Can I just clarify, is that for the new level 5 you're asking? Josie, do come off mute if it's easy to, rather than you having to type in.
Hi, sorry.
Oh,
yeah, it was just for the level 5. Just wondering when that was coming into place.
It's being piloted this year. So again, by next September, we're going to have quite a barrage of policy change that I would anticipate by next academic year they're going to require this, and they're going to have a year of piloting tweaks to the level 5, and then they're going to be encouraging its mandatory place from next September. So we don't just want to dump things on schools. Schools will have a year or so to maybe work out which external providers they want to keep, whether they support those external providers in doing the level 5. They might use their PE premium to do that. If you don't have a one consistent provider or changing people who come in and out, that might be an opportunity to review who you have coming in and why. But you're all right for this year, but it's still available to do this year. So if you want your level 5, you can do it this year, but it's not mandatory from this year. It'll be next. If we can move. You're welcome. Because if we can move forward again. So we have a new curriculum, an evaluation of the PE premium, a review of the school sports partnerships or school games organisers, sorry, and we have a revision of the level 5 qualification. Now, what this is all pulling to are some very, very clear messages. And I've just done a scoping of all those different policy and updates. And these are the key areas that come out of all of them. Okay, there is a very clear, succinct drive about what our priorities should be and what we should be focusing on with all these changes. Inclusion is by far the top of the billing. It's about giving more children more and equal access to opportunities to be physically active and to take part in high quality PE and school sport. There is an explicit focus on SEND and breaking down barriers to participation. This is what's driving the curriculum review, looking at what young people, or who are our young people who can't access the curriculum right now in the way we intend. Thanks to the wonderful drive of the Lionesses and the Women's Roses, you know, the rugby, we are seeing a greater pull in terms of girls' participation, and girls will be a really big focus of these policy changes and these programmes going forward. Global majorities, disadvantaged backgrounds. We're also looking more holistically. So this is now less about physical skill, competition and performance, and much more about a physically literate child, their whole development. There's a big push back to working in partnership. And of course, unquestionably and unapologetically, the DfE and the government want a skilled teaching workforce. So you have the most qualified people working with our young people in school. So there's lots of drivers. Now, everything I've mentioned pull back to these bullet points. Everything is about achieving these outcomes for these young people. Moving forward, Kirsty, please. Just to mention that the DfE recognised that when many of you were trying to submit your premium returns at the end of July, the system crashed just before the summer holidays. So for many of you, you'll know the digital reporting is a new feature for the premium. And again, this is going to give the DfE a lot more data on what's happening with the premium and whether it's eligible spending, how the money's being spent, which will feed into their big evaluation. But because of the crash at the end of July, they have extended the deadline. So if you haven't managed to do your PE premium digital reporting, you have until next week, the 30th of September, to submit that. It is really important that deadline's met. And then following that deadline, there will be a lot more data and insight to your active partners, to us within being able to access data sets through the DfE about how the money's being spent, swimming data, etc., etc. Also, it won't guarantee, they might be holding back the money that gets sent to you as a school unless the digital reporting is done. This is a mandatory process that your school has to comply to meet the terms of the funding grant. Going forward, please, Kirsty. I'm sure many of you have got your funding reporting done. If you need a reminder what the premium is about this year, you need to build capacity beyond this year. So the money you spent needs to have impact beyond this academic year. And that's what the evidence is they're looking for in the digital reporting. And you should be developing or adding to your PE, school sport or physical activity provision. So it should go beyond what is a curriculum offer. You should be exceeding what would be mandatory if we took the funding away. So there's a sense of longevity, impact and extending reach. And if you don't know what to do with your premium, going back to SEND, inclusion, marginalised groups, girls, all of those things will come into play. Next one, please, Kirsty. I'm very conscious of time. There are some things that legally underpin all of this. So these are the current bills and policies going through government. The level 5 one that I just mentioned about the level 5 qualification, that has come from the Children's Wellbeing and School Bill. And there's so far been no objection to this as it's gone through Parliament. And in that bill, if you work in health, education or social care, it will be required that the field you work in, so for us in education, if you're teaching children in curriculum, you would have to have the relevant qualification. So no non-qualified teacher will be able to deliver curriculum without having QTS. And this is going to be a big step change for us in primary if this bill goes through. So AFP's response to this was to start to move the level 5 to become mandatory for those who work in that space, and beyond that, anyone without QTS, they will be started to be directed to do apprenticeships or others to get their QTS so they can continue working in schools. So if you rely on completely outsourcing your curriculum, you will need to think over the next year or two how you support those people to continue, or how you move to addressing that, especially if the premium's not there to help fund that going forward. Okay. I'm not going to go into Ofsted new scorecard. I think we can always talk Ofsted another day. So I think we can move on unless anyone's particularly unhappy about that. But I'm going to stop there and just say, did anyone pick up on the pictures at the front that might be bringing this all together? Anyone want to come off mic and go, we know what those pictures were about, and we kind of get a gist? I'm having a look at the chat. Yeah, no fun, less formal sports, yeah, all of this. So it's a big focus on play, folks. And on the 11th of June, there was a report called Everything to Play For by the National Commission on Play. And they are highlighting the lack of play, particularly for children with SEND, particularly within our global majority young people, and the issues with neglected play spaces. So they were on a campaign to rip down those pictures that said no ball games here and to open up spaces. So play is also going to be front and forefront of some of these discussions around a child's universal entitlement and legal right to play. So I'm going to stop there, Kirsty. I've gone through quite a lot there. As always, if I can pop my email address on those slides, Kirsty, if anyone wants me to go back through or is worried about anything I've raised, I'm always happy to take an email or hop on a call anytime if some of these things are really going to apply for your school going forward.
Super, thank you, Vicky. Yeah, there's obviously lots going on, which is why we have these meetings, and it's so important that you come, so you know what's going on. I'll put Vicky's email address on the email, and like she says, you can contact her directly. You can get in touch with us. Right, we will do some very, very quick breakout rooms just in case there is anything people want to share in their locality areas. Maybe 6-7 minutes, Katie, and then we'll come back just before 5. I'm happy to stay on for longer, so if you have got things you want to talk about, I'm more than happy to stay on after 5 o'clock, but so that we can let people go if they want to go at 5. If we open the breakout rooms now, keep fingers crossed. No pressure, Katie. Katie's first time. And there should be an active Cumbria member staff in there. Hopefully the SGOs are there with you, and we'll see you back here if any questions, any comments, just a few minutes before 5 o'clock. Right, is it working? I'll stop recording now, and we'll get them comment. Just give us a minute. Should be coming now. Yeah, looks like people are starting to move.